About right there. Let me see. It's crooked though, right? It's a little crooked. No, right there. That's good. You can see that's good. That's good enough, y'all.
That's good enough. I can see the chairs at least. Let's see. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. If you have an objection to your case being heard by video, please let me know when you come before me. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have a right to have an attorney present at these proceedings. We are offering you the assistance of public defenders today if you choose to utilize their services. Let's see, who do we have first?
Your Honor, we're going to go with position number 24. This is going to be Ms. Blessed Thomas.
And that's my case, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Ms. Allen. Hope you're well.
You too.
Good afternoon, Ms. Thomas. You have been charged in case 24 CR 0044664A with battery family violence. Is there a history? Who do we have on from? Oh, good afternoon, Ms. Roberts.
Good afternoon. No history. First arrest. Level 1 is pretrial recommendation.
Okay, Ms. Allen.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is a family violence battery. It's true, it's the only arrest on this young woman's criminal history. I believe she is 17 years old. The incident occurred at 470 Oak Drive, Southeast. The victim in this case is Ms. Thomas's mother, Belinda Thompson. The defendant in this case is accused of biting her mom on the arm, causing bleeding and bruising. This was a dispute call made at 11:47 a.m. On scene, police spoke to mom who had called police, and she said that her daughter became irate and started acting out after she was told to clean the kitchen. She started throwing items around the house. Mom tried to intervene and de-escalate. The daughter was able to then go into another sibling, a younger sibling's bedroom, and start screaming at that child. When mom tried to de-escalate by physically removing this child, she was bit in the arm. The defendant made admissions to biting her mother, saying, "I bit her because she kept grabbing me." I believe Ms. Thompson is on the Zoom. We've spoken with her in our office. This young woman needs to have a curfew. She has one more year of high school to complete. She needs to be attending school when school is in session, be in the home after school and for the evenings. She is to have no violent contact with anyone in the home, including her mother, Belinda Thompson. And complete some anger awareness.
Okay. Good afternoon, Ms. Thompson. I see you there. If you would like to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. I'm sorry, Ms. Allen. I don't know if I cut you off or not. You didn't give your recommendation.
I don't have one, Your Honor. I'm going to leave it up to the court's discretion based on the information I just provided.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. So Ms. Thompson, if you would like to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. I need for you to raise your right hand for me. Do you swear affirm testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, ma'am. You can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court?
I just want the court to know that Les made a mistake. She's not a trouble kid like that, and she does need like a little direction and a little help. I'm a single parent. I don't have many supports myself. I've been trying to get her some help. And so I think this was like a cry for help. I just want to see her get that help.
Okay. So you want her back in your household? Is that my understanding?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you're going to have to, and it's my understanding she's 17?
Yes.
So you're going to have to, if I give her a signature bond through pretrial services, you're going to have to come and sign her out. Are you willing to do that?
Yes, sir.
And that's the correct spelling of your name that's on the screen here? Okay. Anything else you'd like to tell the court, ma'am?
Sir.
Okay. Thank you for being here today, Ms. Thomas. I understand. Good afternoon, Ms. Kim.
Yes, Your Honor. We have no objection to a signature on bond for pretrial, having her mother as a co-signer. She is very smart. She's enrolled in both in high school and college. She's dual enrolled. She's taking English and public speaking at college level. She also provides a lot of community service. And even though she's not working, she does art, nursing, and graphic design. And she already has early admission offers from the small colleges. And she wants to go back home and have no further violent contact. She denies the allegation, and actually she claims that she was doing self-defense. Regardless, we would like to go back home and have a signature on bond through pretrial level 1. Thanks.
Okay, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1 with a parental co-signer, 1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Ms. Thompson, the mother, or anyone else in Ms. Thompson's household, a curfew from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. And she's to stay in school, as I'm being told that she already is doing. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Okay, Ms. Thompson, good luck to you. You also, Ms. Thomas.
Good judge.
You're welcome. Let's see. Courtroom 1, is that where we have? Good afternoon, Ms. Chancey. I hope you're doing well this afternoon. Is this the person that needs the interpreter in courtroom 1 here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and who's representing the person in courtroom 1?
I believe that is,
Kaylee Maxwell.
yes. I think she's interviewing ACDC clients.
Okay, so just let's put her in when she comes back. Let's go ahead and place her in to courtroom 1 with a Madam Interpreter. All right. Who do we have next?
Next is going to be position number 28, Ms. Candace Williams.
Good afternoon, Ms. Williams. You have been charged in case 24 CR 004468F with driving under the influence of alcohol, less safe, willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer, and no defective or no headlights. Is there a history, Ms. Roberts?
Only one prior arrest from 2018 for theft by taking, and that case was dismissed. And nothing further.
Ms. Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. This was a incident at 12:53 a.m. in the morning. The defendant was observed driving on Roswell Highway on July the 8th, 2024. One second. She was observed driving without her headlights on 97 Marietta Highway in Roswell. Police initiated traffic stop. When they approached the vehicle, they could smell the odor of alcohol. The defendant admitted she had been around people who were drinking, but when asked to complete some field sobriety and get out of the vehicle, she refused and rolled up her window. Ultimately, when she was ordered to get out of the car, she tensed her arms, tried to avoid the handcuffs being put on her. She was arrested for DUI less safe. We would request a $2,000 surety bond, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 34 years old. She's a single mom of 2 minor children, 11 and 12, are waiting for her at home. Your Honor, she is gainfully employed. She's actually a small business owner herself, self-employed and doing a lot of cleanings, Your Honor. Yes, she does have an associate degree. And Your Honor, because of her autism, she gets misunderstood often. She did not drink, and she denies the allegation about any kind of obstruction to the officer at all. Your Honor, I would like to request for a signature on bond through pretrial so she can be home to take care of her children fast. She That's all we ask for, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, for the DUI to be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, the obstruction a $250 signature bond through pretrial level 1, the no headlights a $250 signature bond through pretrial level 1, makes for a total of a $2,500 signature bond through pretrial level 1, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Williams.
Thank you very much.
Your Honor, can we go to Alpharetta Jail?
Yes, good afternoon. Who do we have at the Alpharetta Jail?
That's gonna be Mr. Casey. That is position 6.
Okay, thank you. All right, so you all go ahead and mute for me there, Alpharetta Jail, if you unmute yourselves, please.
All right.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Casey. You've been charged in case 24 CR 004443G with theft by taking. Is there a history, Ms. Roberts?
Six cycles. Last arrest was October of 2019 for disorderly conduct, which was a conviction. And then in 2019, possession of marijuana less than an ounce conviction. And in 2018, fleeing or attempted to elude conviction. Level 1 is pre-charge recommendation. Nothing
Good af-
further.
Good afternoon, Ms. Williams. Is this your case?
Yes, Your Honor. This is a July 7th incident date where Officer Butler responded to Wild Wings Cafe on 5530 Windward Parkway in reference to a theft call. When he arrived, he met with Keith Rybick, who advised that an employee, who is the defendant, stole $503 out of the restaurant safe. He advised that after leaving the safe open in the manager's office and conducting a money count, $503 was missing. And upon reviewing the surveillance footage, the defendant can be seen walking into the manager's office, taking money from the safe and leaving. The defendant was in the kitchen at the time and was taken outside and detained after being read Miranda. He did admit to taking money out of the safe, but advised it was $303 and advised it was on his bike. They did recover the $303 from his bike. He was subsequently arrested. State recommends a $2,000 good bond and a stay away from 5530 Windward Parkway. Yes, a stay away from 5530 Windward Parkway, the Wild Wings Cafe, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Good afternoon, Mr. Cook. Is this your case?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, we would have no objection, obviously, to a signature bond. My client is homeless. I would want to set him up if he's not able to get to a pretrial. We would be asking for the signature bond through the jail. Of course, we have no objection to the stay away.
Okay, it will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No, stay away from the Windward Parkway address and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Casey.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Who do we have next?
Next, Your Honor, we're gonna come back to courtroom 2. Is gonna be position number 1, Mr. Travis Agar.
Okay, and who's presenting for Mr. Agar today? I just wanted to know because Ms. Williams, I believe that you, no,
Yes,
we-
it's Ms. Williams for the state.
okay, all right. Good afternoon, Mr. Agar. You have been charged in case 24 CR 004458B with 2 counts of disorderly conduct and 2 counts of willful obstruction of law enforcement officers. Is there a history, Ms. Roberts?
Yes, 9 cycles. Last arrest was July of 2023 for impersonating an officer. Has a conviction from 2017 out of Michigan for operating with a high BHC. 2007 conviction out of Michigan for breaking and entering. And then a 2007 conviction out of Michigan for home invasion. And level 3 is pre-charge recommendation and nothing further.
Ms.
Your
Williams?
Honor, this is a July 7th, 2024 incident date where Officer Tompkins and Officer David stopped at the Wayland WHELEN at 1133 Huff Road Northwest to quickly show presence and get food to go. While they were there, the defendant, a white male employee, was following them around. They asked, "Can we help you?" And he asked, "What are you doing here?" They responded that they were only there to show a police presence and to eat, to which the male responded that the kitchen was closing soon, which it actually was not at the time. The male employee was getting more and more aggressive each time he asked what they were doing there. He had his arms folded the majority of the time, crossed across his chest, and then he uncrossed them, physically approached the officer, where the approximate distance for the most of their encounter was about 5 feet distance. And then he closed it about 2 feet and said, "I'm going to ask you one more time, what the F are you doing here?" And at that time, the officers felt his aggression, his language, and him getting so close. They put their hand out to do a one-hand check to create space, and they gave him verbal commands to get on the ground. But instead of complying, he attempted to walk away. Due to the male's high intoxication, he was transported to Grady. And while there at Grady, he attempted to open the Grady detention door in order to leave and escape custody. The state is recommending $1,000 signature bond on each charge through pretrial for a total of $4,000, an anger awareness class, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons, Your Honor.
Any objection to any of that, Mr. Cook?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, so for each count, it'll be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. Makes for a total of a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. Stay away. Well, does he work at that Huff Road address? Is he still working there? Did you ask for a stay away?
Did not ask for a stay away, being that that is his employment.
Okay, so no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Agar.
Your Honor, just a quick question. We also had 3 other charges, the public drunk and 2 counts of simple assault. Were those NOD?
The count of public drunkenness and the 2 simple assaults were NOD. The only remaining charges are the 4. 2 counts of disorderly, 2 counts of willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer.
Appreciative. Thank you. Next, we're going to go to position number 3, Mr. Khalil Bratton.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bratton. You've been charged in case 24 CR 004456E with battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Roberts?
Yes, Judge. 7 cycles. Last arrest was June of 2021 for traffic offenses out of Delaware. That was a conviction. And then a 2018 disorderly conduct conviction out of Maryland, and a 2018 possession of a controlled substance conviction out of Delaware. Level 2 is pretrial recommendation.
And Your Honor, this is a June 16th of 2024 incident date where Officer Dominique responded to 3426 Treadwell Circle for a domestic dispute. When they got there, they spoke with Miss Darnice Wynn, who told the police that the defendant, her boyfriend, that they had watched the fight, and Miss Wynn brought something up that she became upset. So she tried to go into another room. He then grabbed her, snatched her phone out of her hand, and struck her in the face a couple of times with the phone. She was able to get away, run into the bathroom. She sustained a black eye that was almost completely shut, bruising and swelling to her left arm and shoulder, and swelling to her left hand as well. And they've been living together for approximately 8 months. The state recommends a $2,500 good bond, no further contact with Darnice Wynn, and a stay away from 3426 Treadwell Circle Southwest, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. And if we could sound for the victim, Miss Darnice Wynn.
If Ms. Darnice Wynn is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. You'll need to unmute yourself, activate your camera, and I'll have to swear you in. Ms. Williams, has your office had the opportunity to speak with Ms. Wynn?
We have, Your Honor, and she's advised that she would like no further violent contact. However, due to the circumstances of the case, the state is asking for no contact. She has also advised that she does want to stay away from the location.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Cook?
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 27 years old. He has been, excuse me, in the area for about 4 years. He's currently working. He has no problem with a stay away from the Treadwell location. He has another place to live. At some point, though, he may wish to go back because I believe he's on the. Actually, I believe he's buying that property, but until this is disposed of, he has another location in which he can live. We would be asking for a signature bond at whatever level the court deems appropriate.
Does he need a one-time escort to retrieve any belongings?
Yes, that would be good, Your Honor. That
Okay.
would be good.
It will be a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2, 1-day anger awareness. No further contact at this time with Ms. Nguyen. Stay away from the Treadwell Circle address. He can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that he might have there. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Bratton.
Next, Your Honor, we're going to position number 5, Mr. Demetrius Brownlee.
Good afternoon, Mr. Brownlee. You've been charged in case 24 CR 004452Y with battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Roberts?
Yes, Brownlee. 11 cycles. Last arrest was in 2014 for simple battery, cruelty, and criminal trespass. Last conviction, 2006 for possession of marijuana less than an ounce. 2003 conviction for criminal trespass, and 2002 conviction for driving without a license suspended or revoked. Level 2 is pre-charge recommendation.
The 2014 charges, do you know how they were disposed of?
Give me 30 seconds.
I believe that they were null prized, Your Honor, for want of prosecution.
Okay.
The form stated that although there was probable cause, that they did not have the evidence sufficient to go forward with trial.
Okay, thank you, Ms.
Yes.
Williams.
Thank you.
And this
You can
is a
proceed.
July 7th, 2024 incident date where Officer Williams and Officer Lee responded to a family violence call at 2045 Browns Mill Road, Southeast. Upon arrival, they met with the defendant who was standing in the front yard of the residence. He advised that he and his child's mother, Miss Tanisha Rumpf, were having an argument and she was trying to kick him out. Officers did observe a small cut on his nose. The officers then spoke with the victim, Miss Rumpf, who advised that she wanted the defendant out of the house and that he had assaulted her. And she actually showed the officers footage of the defendant pushing her in the porch and pushing her down the stairs. She admitted to throwing a metallic basket at him after the push and showed video evidence of that as well. The victim did show where her upper lip was injured during the incident, and she showed the injury to the officer, so he did observe it. The defendant did state that he was defending himself when she tried to push him out of the residence. Both parties were initially arrested. However, the victim's case has been NOD. The state recommends a $2,500 good bond, no further contact with Tanisha Rumpf, and a stay away from 2045 Browns Mill Road, Southeast, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. And if we could sound for Miss Rumpf.
Ms. Rumpf is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Mr. Cook?
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 42 years old. He has lived in the area his entire life. He's been working for Amazon for the last 3 years. He is actually buying the Browns Mill Road location. We would be seeking, and they have a child together. And she, in fact, was arrested with him. I'm not sure about the details of the NOD. Obviously, she showed them what she wanted to show them. given that, we would be asking for a signature bond at whatever level the court deems appropriate. We would have no objection at this time to the stay away or the no further contact.
He needs a one-time escort and a third-party transfer?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, it'll be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2, 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Ms. Tanisha Rumpf, stay away from the Brownsley Road address. He can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings, third-party transfer of any minor children for visitation, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck, Mr. Brownlee.
Your Honor, I own the house. I can't go back to my own house.
No, sir, not at this time until you get things resolved with Ms. Rumpf, and I take it that your child also lives there. So until you all work this out, you cannot have any contact with her. Third-party transfer of the minor child for visitation, but I am going to allow you to go back and retrieve your belongings with law enforcement. Okay?
Thank you, Your Honor. Let me do my job.
You're welcome. Good luck to you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go to position number 7, Mr. Juan Davis. Hello.
Good afternoon, Mr. Davis. You've been charged in case 24 CR 004444C with simple battery family violence. Is there a history?
25 cycles. Last arrest was January of 2024 for a DUI. That case appears to be open. A 2007 conviction for driving while license suspended or revoked. 2006 conviction for giving false name and possession of marijuana less than an ounce. 2002 theft by taking and fleeing or attempting to elude, and willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. Battery family violence in 96. And level 3 is pretrial's recommendation.
Is the DUI open in Fulton County?
No, sir.
No,
Oh,
Judge.
okay.
Did you want to know the county it was open in?
No, I just wanted to know if it was Fulton or not.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Yes, Ms. Williams.
This is a July 4th incident date where Sergeant Richardson was located at the checkpoint in front of 2727 East Point Street near the City Hall, where he heard many people yelling, "He's up there fighting her." And then the officer then saw several officers running toward the gravel lot in that area. He had the opportunity to speak with the victim, Miss DeAndre Temple, who was yelling loudly at the time. She advised that her and her boyfriend had been in an argument, but it wasn't physical. However, the officer did observe a blood bruise on her lip. And while speaking with Miss Temple, Officer Suryor, another responding officer, came over and let this officer know that that he saw the defendant strike Miss Temple, that he witnessed them arguing in the middle of East Point Street. And when they realized he was observing them, they moved the argument into the gravel parking lot. He then observed moments later that the defendant did strike her in her upper chest/neck area. At the time, Miss Temple then became extremely upset, cursing and talking loudly. The defendant and the victim do share a child together. The state recommends a $2,500 good bond, no further violent contact with Miss DeAndre Temple, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. And if we could sound for Miss DeAndre Temple.
If Ms. Temple is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. I see a DeAndre. Would you like?
Yes.
Okay, I'll need for you to activate your camera, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay.
Hi,
Good afternoon. Raise your right hand for me. Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
yes.
Okay, you can place your hand down, ma'am. What would you like to tell the court?
We did get into a verbal altercation over there at the park. We have a 17-year-old child together that we are co-parenting with. So we're not in contact that much aside of supporting our child. So I don't need anything further with that. Just know I don't have any,
Okay.
no
You
cause
all,
for him.
you all do not live together
No,
and you're not afraid of him?
no.
And has this happened before?
We were in a relationship about 20 years ago, so we've been in altercations, but we haven't been together in over 15 years. So we don't have fighting going on.
Okay. Thank you for being here this afternoon, Ms. Temple. Mr. Davis, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. I see you there. Put your hand down and let Mr. Cook talk for you. If you want to speak with Mr. Cook, I'm happy to give you that opportunity, but I don't want you to get yourself in any trouble. A lot of times people want to say something that ends up getting into more trouble than they are already in. So let Mr. Cook speak for you. And if you want to say something or have him speak with me, I'm happy to have you do that. You want to advise him, Mr. Cook?
I would advise him to not speak at this time, Your Honor.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Cook.
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 48 years old. He's lived in the area his entire life. He is working in the HVAC industry and has for 15 years and has a certification in that industry. He denies the allegations as stated in the warrant. And we also have a 17426 issue here. He was arrested, I believe, the evening of July 4th. So we're looking at well, how many ever days? That's about 3.5 days now. So we've gone well past the 72-hour requirement. And he did not see a judge in East Point, and he was in East Point for this charge, and I verified that.
Okay. It will be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1 day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Ms. Temple, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Davis.
Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go to ACDC. We're gonna go to position number 8.
Okay,
Miss
Your Honor,
Oz.
she did not hear her rights.
Okay.
She was being interviewed at the time.
thank you. Good afternoon, Ms. Paz. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have a right to an attorney at this proceeding. We're providing you with the services of a public defender if you choose to utilize their services today. Ms. Paz, you've been charged in case 24 CR 004445B with driving under the influence of alcohol and possession of an open alcohol container. Is there a history, Ms. Roberts?
Yes. Give me 1 second. My screen froze. 4 cycles. Last arrest was from March of 2022 for a simple battery out of Forsyth. That was a first offender. That looks like it was sealed in 2024. Has a DUI conviction in 2022 and a criminal trespass conviction in 2015. Level 1 is pretrial recommendation.
And
Ms.
Your Honor,
Williams?
this is a July 6th incident date, where Officer Lee and Officer Hart were dispatched to a welfare check at 3719 Old Alabama Road, which is the Grapes and Grains liquor store. They found the defendant in the driver's seat, pants down mid-thigh and unresponsive. The car was in park with the engine running. They tried multiple times to get her to respond, asked her to turn off the vehicle. She would not do so. After turning it off, they did observe slurred speech, that she could not form complete sentences, that she was unsteady on her feet, watery eyes, and the odor of alcohol coming off her person. Corporal Bucky actually found a bottle of Don Julio 375 milliliters half full on the driver's side area floorboard. And they also found a receipt in the vehicle that matched that bottle. The state recommends a $1,500 good bond on the DUI, a $500 signature bond on the possession open container, no driving without a valid license, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Cook?
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 31 years old. She's lived in the Atlanta area for 28 years. She works at a wing stop in Sandy Springs. She denies the allegations. She's currently living out of her car. So she was obviously in her car, but she denies the remainder of the allegations. We would ask the court to accept the recommendation of pretrial for signature bond. I believe they said level 2. I'm not sure, but well, obviously she can't drive without a valid license. We have no objection to any conditions on the driving as long as she has a valid credential.
Okay. For the DUI, it'll be a $750 good bond. For the open alcohol container, a $250 good bond, makes for a total of $1,000 good bond. No driving without a valid license, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Potts.
Next, Your Honor, is going to be position number 9, Mr. Dexter Freeland.
Good afternoon, Mr. Friedland. You've been charged in case 24 CR 004446J with loitering and prowling. Is there a history, Ms. Roberts?
Yes, 41 cycles. Last arrest was August of 2023 for criminal damage to property, willful obstruction, and giving false name. Appears to be on probation for theft by taking, 22 SC 181945. Also, theft by taking, 19 SC 171597. Both sentenced May of 2022. It was a 5-year sentence for both cases. A 2022 criminal trespass conviction. A 2018 entering auto, possession of a firearm, and the commission of a felony and criminal trespass conviction. A 2003 and 2001 burglary conviction, and then a 1999 entering auto conviction. Level 3 is pretrial recommendation.
Thank you. Ms. Williams?
Yes, Your Honor, this is a June 30th incident date where the defendant as well as another person, Michael Hartsfield, were stopped at 1770 Richmond Circle by Officer Trish. Both males were seen on camera looking at ATVs behind the building. And due to recent burglaries, Officer Trish stopped the males to inquire about their purpose on the property. They stated that their friend was allowing them to have the ATV, so they were looking at them. However, both males were trespassed from the location due to the fact that neither of them resided there, and they were looking at property at 3 a.m., which didn't belong to them. State recommends a $1,500 good bond and a stay away from 1770 Richmond Circle, as well as no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Cook?
Yes, Your Honor, my client's 54 years old. He has lived in the area his entire life. He works in construction part-time. He has a fairly modest income, so we would be asking for a signature bond, at whatever level the court deems appropriate. If it is a surety bond, then certainly as low as possible, since he would have a great deal of trouble making a surety bond.
It'll be a $500 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from the Richmond Circle address. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Freeland.
Next, we're going to go to position number 10, Mr. Gamble, Angelo Gamble.
Good afternoon, Mr. Gamble. You've been charged in case 24 CR 004442A with unlawful conduct during a 911 call. Is there a history, Ms. Roberts?
He has 6 cycles. Last arrest was from October of 2019 for terroristic threats. That was a NOLO plea out of Hall County. Nothing further to add. Level 2 is pretrial's recommendation.
Your Honor, this is a July 5th, 2024 incident date where Officer Sorrow of East Point PD responded to 3129 Candlewood Drive for a threats call. When they got there, found that the defendant made a phone call to East Point Police Emergency 911 and reported having heard his roommate, Anthony Harris, to make a cell phone call to another person, advising that he threatened to have that person come to the residence in order to shoot up the place. The defendant reported he clearly heard the phone call made by Mr. Harris, and it was done so within 10 minutes prior to the officer responding. The officer, however, checked Mr. Harris's cell phone to confirm, but found that he had not made any phone calls for at least an hour prior. The defendant later admitted he never heard the specific threat he reported to 911. State recommends a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Mr. Cook?
Your Honor, we would be seeking a signature bond through the jail, and we have no other objections to any conditions.
I don't think the state asked for any conditions, did you, Ms. Williams? Have you all talked to this Mr. Harris? And do they both live at the Candlewood Drive address? Do you have any further information?
Let me check, Your Honor. I did not ask for a stay away because I did believe that that was his address, but let me. I'm sorry, Your Honor, one moment.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Yes, who's speaking?
Are you able to hear me? I'm Anthony Harris.
Oh, yes. Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Harris. Let's see, if you'll raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can place your hand down, Mr. Harris. What would you like to tell the court?
I don't need a stay away or anything like that.
Okay.
Just like for y'all, just let him go. It was a bad night that night, and
So do you live at the Candlewood Drive address, Mr. Harris?
yes, sir, I do.
Okay, and does Mr. Gamble live there also?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and has anything like this happened in the past?
No, sir, this is our first time.
Okay, and you'd like for him to come back to that address?
Yes, sir, he can come back.
Okay.
It's his house, so
Okay.
you know, I don't want no harm. I don't want nothing. I don't have no problem with him. He can come on back.
All right, thank you for being here this afternoon, Mr. Harris.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Cook, anything further?
We would just be seeking a signature bond through the jail, Your Honor. My client is not currently working, so nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. Only use the 911 for lawful reasons and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Gamble.
Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go back to ACDC. It's gonna be position 13, Ms. Nakia Mack.
Okay. Good afternoon, Ms. Mack. You have been charged in case 24 CR 004449G with battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Roberts?
6 cycles. Last arrest was from 2016 for driving while license suspended or revoked, and nothing further. I'm sorry, driving without a valid license was the last arrest. Level 1 is pretrial's recommendation.
Afternoon, Ms. McConkey.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This incident occurred July 7th, 2024 at 1991 Delow Drive Southwest in Atlanta. The defendant is accused of pulling the victim, Nyasia Mack's hair and grabbing her, which left lacerations on her forearm. When officers made contact with the defendant, they noted the smell of alcohol emanating from her person. Our office has had an opportunity to speak with the victim, Ms. Nyasia Mack, who is the defendant's daughter, who stated that earlier the day of the incident, the defendant came home drunk and was belligerent. No one was able to calm her down, so they did call the police and the defendant was taken into custody. The defendant then returned back to the residence a few hours later and was still intoxicated and then proceeded to attack the victim. The victim did state that this has never happened before. She's not in fear of her mother. She's okay with having contact and she's okay with her mother returning to the residence. The state's recommendation is a $1,500 surety bond, no further violent contact with the victim, anger awareness, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. And I would ask the court to sound for the victim, Ms. Nyasia Mack.
Ms. Mack, I see you there. If you would like to address the court, you certainly don't have to, but if you would like to, now is your opportunity. I need for you to activate your camera for me and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court would be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court?
I'm not in fear of my mama. Like I said, the night of it, she went out with her friends. She came home drunk. We tried to calm her down. Everybody in the house tried to calm her down. Nothing seemed to work. So it escalated to the police being called. You guys detained her. She went away for a couple of hours, maybe 2 hours, but she came back out of jail and she was still belligerent drunk. You know what I'm saying? So she's still angry from the situation prior, like, oh yeah, you sent me to jail. You see what I'm saying? But no, I'm not scared of my mom. We live in the same house. I have to deal with her on a regular basis. She's never drunk and belligerent like this. She just came home this one night with her friend, all drunk, and nobody could calm her down. So that's why we did have to call the police.
Okay, thank you for being here this afternoon, Ms. Mack.
You're welcome.
Mr. Cook? Is your case, Mr. Cook?
I don't
I
believe
believe
so.
this is my case.
Good afternoon, Ms. Maxwell.
I
Yes.
apologize. I'm on
No
crutches.
problem.
I had a little bit of a technical difficulty getting on the computer. So I apologize for being a little late.
Okay, just let me know when you're ready. We're on position 13, Nakia Mack.
All right, let me just pull up her notes. Yes, Your Honor, I spoke with Ms. Mack for a while. She's been in Georgia for over a decade. She's a high school graduate. She went to UEI in Morrow. She has some physical health conditions, and she is worried that while she's incarcerated, she's missed doses of medication, and she is a little bit worried about how that might affect her health. She loves her daughter and her granddaughter, her new 5-month-old granddaughter, as well as her 2 older children who both live around the area. And her mother, I believe, just moved down to live with them in Georgia as well to help take care of the grandbaby. Miss Morrow understands that she and her daughter got into an argument, and what we're asking for at this point is to allow her to have a signature bond or as low a bond as the court would be comfortable with, as she does not have any real financial mobility, and to allow her to return home with her family with a no further violent contact order.
Okay, it will be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, 1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with her daughter, Nyasia Mack, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Ms. Mack, I'm going to let you out, but you can't have any alcohol while you are on bond. You understand? Okay, good luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Who do we have next?
Your Honor, we can go to the Spanish interpreter case in courtroom 1.
Okay. And tell me who that is again.
That's gonna be Mr. Gonzalez Rivera. I think he should be an add-on. He wasn't on the regular SAP.
Oh, okay. Yes, he is an add-on. Let's see. Again, good afternoon, Ms. Chancey. Can you raise your right hand for me? Do you
Yes,
swear do you swear affirm that you will translate from Spanish to English and English to Spanish to the best of your ability?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, Mr. Gonzalez Rivera. You have been charged in case 24 CR 004469G with expired or no driver's license and expired or no registration.
Buenas tardes, señor González Rivera. Usted está acusado en el caso 24 CR 00446 9G por manejar con licencia vencida o sin licencia y por no tener registración.
Is there a history, Ms. Roberts?
¿Hay antecedentes, señora Roberts?
2 cycles.
2 ciclos.
Last arrest was June 18th of 2024 for driving without a valid license.
El último fue el 18 de junio del 2024 por manejar sin licencia.
And signature bond through the jail was pretrial's recommendation.
Una fianza bajo firma a través de los servicios previos al juicio fue la recomendación.
Makaki, is this your case?
Yes, it is, Your Honor. As you stated, the defendant is accused of driving without a valid license and driving with no registration or title on the vehicle. The state agrees with pretrial's recommendation of a signature bond on both charges and absolutely no driving without a valid license and valid registration.
Any objection to any of that, Ms. Maxwell?
No objection, Your Honor.
Sí, como usted dijo, él tiene un cargo por manejar sin licencia a través de los servicios previos al juicio. La recomendación entonces es que no maneje sin licencia más y sin registración.
Okay, so it'll be a $500 signature bond through the jail on each count, makes for a total of $1,000 signature bond through the jail. No driving without a valid license. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
Entonces, la sentencia es de, it's a total of $1,000, sir, right?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
thank you.
500 on each charge.
Thank you. Entonces son $500 de multa a través de la cárcel por cada uno de los cargos, dando un total de una fianza de $1,000 a través de la cárcel por manejar, no debe conducir más sin licencia y se prohíbe el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas.
Good luck to you, sir.
Buena suerte, señor.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Do we need Ms. Chancey for any other cases this afternoon?
I don't believe so. I believe Luna was taken off the calendar, so I think we're
Okay. Thank you for being here as always, Ms. Chancey.
You're
We'll see you-
welcome. Good afternoon, sir.
Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go back to ACDC. It's gonna be position number 18, Ms. Powell.
Good afternoon, Ms. Powell. You have been charged in case 24 CR 004454F with theft by shoplifting. Is there a history, Ms. Roberts?
Yes. 10 cycles. Last arrest was January of 2023 for theft by shoplifting. 2010 conviction for false report of a crime. A 2000 conviction for false report of a crime. And then a 2000 conviction for false statement. Give me one moment to see what happened with the 2023 theft by shoplifting case. That case was, it says transferred to state court, Alpharetta Police Department. And nothing
Okay.
further.
Ms. McConkey?
Yes, Your Honor. The defendant is accused of stealing $484.25 worth of clothing and food from the Walmart located at 844 Cleveland Avenue in East Point. The state's recommendation is a $1,000 surety bond. Stay away from all Walmart locations. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Maxwell?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Powell has lived in Atlanta for over 20 years. She's recently, within the past couple of months, started a new job at the Avis car rental place at Hartsfield. She is very financially strapped for cash at this point. Though she is working and wants to get back to work, she would not be able to afford really any bond at this point. So we would ask for a signature bond or as low a bond as the court feels comfortable with to allow her to return to work and start to just get back on her feet.
Okay. It will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. Stay away from the Walmart on Cleveland Avenue. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Powell.
My apologies, Your Honor. What was that bond amount?
$2,000 signature bond through pretrial.
Level 1?
Level 1, yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next, we're gonna go to position number 19, Mr. Darrell Simmons.
Good afternoon, Mr. Simmons. You've been charged in case 24 CR 004459D with 2 counts of battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Roberts?
11 cycles. Last arrest was June of 2015 for theft by taking. Has a 2015 conviction for fleeing or attempting to elude and theft by receiving stolen property. A 2007 conviction for disorderly conduct out of Iowa. And then a 2004 and 1995 conviction for theft out of Iowa. Level 2 is pretrial recommendation and nothing further.
Ms. Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is an incident from July the 7th of 2024. It took place at 315 Dressage Court. That's DRESSAGE. That's in South Fulton. It was 1:40 a.m. in the morning. The incident took place between people living in the same home. The defendant is the stepfather of a young woman who's an adult, and she and her husband reside in the home. Her husband is named Jackson, Jaxon, Waldrop, WAL, excuse me, DREP, I believe. Yes. During an argument witnessed by multiple other people living in the home, including the defendant's wife and his stepdaughter, the defendant bit Mr. Waldrop in the face, causing severe lacerations, and bit him on his shoulder, also causing lacerations. He had to be transported to the hospital, and his discharge paperwork reports that human bite assault was what he was receiving treatment for, and he's been placed on antibiotics. So the daughter in this case, the stepdaughter of the defendant, her name is Madison, the wife of the defendant, Tammy, and then the son-in-law, Jackson, were all present and spoke to the police. Our office has been in touch with Mr. Waldrop. I believe he may be on the Zoom if you want to sound for him, but just briefly, there's a 3-year-old child that this young couple share and lives in the same home. There were children, I believe, present when this occurred. There is domestic violence history involving heated arguments, but the victim reported that this was the first time it ever became physical. The request in this case, Your Honor, is for no contact, for some anger awareness, a drug evaluation, and to stay away from the residence, allowing for a one-time police escort. We'd ask for a $5,000 signature bond that is monitored through pretrial.
Okay. Was Mr. Waldrop the only one that was physically injured?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And if Mr. Jackson Waldrop or anyone from the family is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Doesn't appear so. Yes, Ms. Kim.
Yes, Your Honor, we would like to verify that there was only one battery charge, and which one do we have added on against? I know there was one against Jackson Waldrop. Did we add like?
I'm sorry, Ms. Kim, I'm having a difficulty understanding you.
Well, right when we were working on this with a bookkeeping or a booking report, there was only one battery charge, Your Honor, and now we have two.
Yes, I upgraded and added an additional battery for the bite on the arm, causing a laceration on the shoulder specifically, in addition to the bite on the face, causing a severe laceration to the same victim.
Got it. Your Honor, my client is 48 years old and he has no objection to stay away and no further contact. They are not legally married, and yet they have been living together and referring each other husband and wife. So he is not officially son-in-law. So anyway, Your Honor, he is gainfully employed for a restaurant. Last 2 years, he was working as a manager at a restaurant, and he has a 14 years old minor child that he has to support. They live together, and he is his biological child. So he needs to go back and take care of him. Your Honor, he does have high school diploma, and we would like to request we have no objection to signature on bond pretrial level 1. We want to have a one-time law enforcement of stress for his visit to retrieve personal belongings rather.
Okay. For each charge, it will be a $2,500 signature bond through pretrial level 2. Makes for a total of a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. 1-day anger awareness. No further contact with Mr. Waldrop. Stay away from the dressage court address. He can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Simmons.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you,
You're
Your Honor.
welcome.
You done. Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go back to ACDC. It's gonna be position number 21, Ms. LaShawn Sneed.
Okay. Yes, good afternoon. Ms. Sneed, you've been charged in case 24 CR 004461B with battery, family violence, and willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. Is there a history?
Yes. I'm showing 10 cycles. Last arrest was June of 2024 for theft by shoplifting. That case is out of East Point. It doesn't have a disposition. Appears to have an open battery case, 22 CR 004097B, a 2023 battery family violence conviction, and 1 FTA from 2023. And level 3 is pretrial recommendation.
The 2023 conviction, is that in Fulton County?
It's in Clayton, Your Honor. I've requested the certified disposition, and I've been in touch with the DA's office. This could end up being a transfer at some point when we have documentation of that.
Okay, thank you. You can continue, Ms. Allen.
Thank you. This is an incident that occurred on July the 5th 2024. Mrs. Lawson was in an altercation with her father, Mack, M-A-C-K, Sneed. He reports his daughter punched him in the face. He was struck on the left side of his face near his cheek with a closed fist, and officers observed swelling. Miss Sneed does have an open battery family violence that is bench warrant status. She was supposed to appear June the 3rd in front of Judge Porter. The victim in that case is Mondrell Barnes. There is also a 2019 conviction for battery where Mrs. Sneed entered a NOLO plea. Victim of that battery was a gentleman named Gary Benton. Our office has been in touch with the victim in this case. I believe the defendant is wanted at home, but there are some concerns and support is needed. If it is necessary, we can go into a breakout room if you see fit, Your Honor. Dad is Mack Sneed. He may be on the Zoom.
Mr. Sneed is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Ms. Allen, do you happen to know what the bond was on that 2022 open battery case?
I'll pull it up now.
Okay, thank you. I'd just like to know if it was, what type of bond it was, and if it was a signature bond or a or else. Yes. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 12 years young, Your Honor, and she is currently unemployed, and she graduated from high school, and we would like to request for a signature on bond through pretrial level 3, no further violent contact with his family. Nothing further from defense, Your Honor.
The bond
Yeah.
on the 22 CR case, Your Honor, was $1,000 for battery family violence surety bond. Let me see if I can see any conditions. There's actually a document to review. The bond order itself says no further violence with the victim, Mr. Barnes.
Did I issue it? Ms. Allen, do you know?
I believe so.
Okay, thank you.
Must speak with social worker, continue with MH, abide by MARTA suspension.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
So Ms. Kim, I would also like a social worker visit. If she'll be on the SAP calendar on July 23rd. If she doesn't make bond, I'm at this time going to give her a good bond. July 23rd. I will be on that SAP calendar, and if you can communicate to your contemporaries that are on that calendar that I would like to have for her to have a social worker visit. So for the battery, it'd be $1,000 good bond. For the obstruction, a $500 good bond. No further contact with Mr. Sneed at this time. Stay away from his residence. And no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Ms. Bridgewater, are you with me?
I am, Your Honor. Champion Judge.
Yes. Ms. Kim, thank you. I'm used to Ms. Bridgewater on Mondays. Ms. Champion, did you get that other,
The case
other-
number, yes, I have the other case number.
Okay, let's see if we can place both of those on that SAP calendar so we can address them both at one time and see what's necessary, okay?
Okay, yes, sir.
All right, I appreciate it. All right, good luck to you, Ms. Sneed.
Next, Your Honor, we're gonna have position number 22, Mr. Donald Swanson.
Okay, good afternoon. Let me know when you're ready, Ms. Kim.
Yes, I'm ready right now. Thank you.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Swanson. You have been charged in case 24 CR 004462Y with hit and run, following too closely, and driving while your license was suspended or revoked. Is there a history, Ms. Roberts?
Yes, 36 cycles, multi-state offender. Last arrest was April of this year for driving while license suspended or revoked. Has an open case, 23 CP 222201. That is for possession of a Schedule I controlled substance, failure to obey traffic control devices, driving while license suspended or revoked, possession of marijuana less than an ounce, and possession of drug paraphernalia. A 2017 conviction for DUI, fleeing or attempting to elude, willful obstruction, and possession of marijuana less than an ounce. 2015 conviction for possession of meth. 2014 conviction for theft by taking. 2011, 2010, and 2009 DUI convictions. 2007 theft conviction out of Texas. Then a 97 unauthorized use of a motor vehicle conviction out of Texas, and a resisting arrest 1991 out of Florida. Level 3 is pretrial's recommendation and nothing further.
Fallon?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is a hit and run case. On the 2nd of July, 2024, the defendant was involved in an accident while driving a red Subaru Forester. This accident occurred at 10595 Haynes Valley Court in Alpharetta. He rear-ended another vehicle while following too closely. On scene, he got out of the vehicle he was driving, approached and asked the victim not to call the police yet, and then was observed by a third-party witness as well as the victim fleeing into the wood line on foot. Once he was apprehended, he spoke to police. He admitted that he was driving on a limited permit. He is a habitual violator and is only supposed to be driving to school, I believe, or for employment. So there are 3 charges on this case, Your Honor. The hit and run, follow too closely, and the suspended or revoked driver's license. We'd be asking for a $3,000 bond through pretrial with what is the word? Supervision. And there may need to be a evaluation just based on what I'm seeing.
Okay. Yes, Ms. Kim.
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 60 years old and he has been retired, and yet he does have odd jobs here and there to make a living, Your Honor. I do have a paperwork here that he provided. It's actually the letter from Georgia Department of Driver's License to prove that he indeed had a limited permit to drive. And Your Honor, my client gave his ID to another driver opposing party. He had no intention to hit and run. I mean, who would be giving his ID to another person and run away? That's kind of like, that was not his intention. It's totally misunderstanding that he was misunderstood. And also, Your Honor, so his license was not suspended or revoked. And it was not hit and run. He did not run away. And Your Honor, he turned himself in. He understands there are so many issues in the past. However, he wants to get a signature on bond through a pretrial. level 1, and no further contact with the victim of the case is totally okay with us. Thank you.
Okay, for each charge, it'll be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3, which makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. He's to abide by any pre-existing driving conditions that he has, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Swanson.
Okay, thank you, sir.
You're welcome, sir.
Next, Your Honor, we're going back to ACDC. Is going to be position number 23, Ms. Anaya Thomas.
Good afternoon, Ms. Thomas. You've been charged in case 24 CR 004463G with driving under the influence of alcohol, a concentration of 0.08 grams or more. Is there a history?
No,
Yeah.
first arrest. That's will be through the jail was pre-trial's recommendation.
Okay, Ms. Allen?
We would not object to that either, Your Honor. The defendant has a Florida driver's license. This is her only arrest in Georgia. This was an incident from July the 7th, 2024 at 7 p.m. There was an intox performed. This is a stop on South Fulton Parkway on Georgia 14 by GSP Officer Jay Horn.
Any objection to any of that, Ms. Kim?
No objection to UJR jail. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, it'll be a $3,000 signature bond through the jail, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Thomas.
Next, Your Honor, is going to be position number 25, Mr. Lamonta Thomas in courtroom 2.
Okay. Let me know when you're ready, Ms. Kim.
We're ready, Your Honor.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Thomas. You've been charged in case 24 CR 004465J with fare evasion and criminal trespass. Is there a history, Ms. Roberts?
Yes, 5 cycles. Last arrest was April of 2024 for simple assault and terroristic threats. That is an open case out of Clayton County. Appears to be on 2 probations. The first is for 2 counts of aggravated assault and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. 23 SC 190809. And then a robbery probation, 24 SC 000811. Both sentenced on April of 2024. Ag assault case was 5 years, and the robbery case is 3 years. And then a 2023 conviction for fleeing or attempting to elude and driving without a valid license. Level 2 is pre-trial's recommendation.
Thank you. Ms. Allen?
Your Honor, this is an incident that occurred on July the 7th of 2024 at the Oakland City train station. That's 1400 Lee Street, Southwest. The defendant was observed following a patron through the fare gate without paying the $2.50 fee. When his information was reviewed, it was discovered that he had a 364-day ban from MARTA property in effect since November 2023 and in place until November 2024. As you just heard, there is multiple active probation cases for serious violence. So this case seems to be a little low on the totem pole. We'd be asking for monitoring through pretrial services and leave it to your discretion. There are 2 counts, criminal trespass and fare evasion, but also to follow any other, already put in place MARTA requirements. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Ms. Kim.
Yes, my client is only 22 years old, and Your Honor, he has a 10-month-old daughter that he has to take care of, Your Honor. Indeed, he was released from the jail about a month ago after being incarcerated for a year, and he completely forgot about, the restriction at MARTA. He denies the allegation of following the patron. The whole thing was actually open, it was broken, and he was willing to pay for it. However, because of his bad histories, he just get arrested and treated like as if there's no presumption of innocence. And I believe that he deserves to have a signature on bond through jail for these two charges and have chance to clean up his past and have another chance to set his life together with his daughter. Thank you.
Okay, for each charge, it'll be a $500 signature bond through pretrial level 1, makes for a total of $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. Abide by any MARTA suspensions and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Thomas.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Next, Your Honor, we have position number 26, Mr. Watkins, Javon Watkins.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Mr. Watkins. You've been charged in case 24 CR 004466E with willful obstruction of law enforcement officers. Is there a history, Ms. Roberts?
Yes, 25 cycles. I'm sorry, wrong defendant. 31 cycles, a multi-state offender. Last arrest was out of Indiana for burglary from July 2022. Has a conviction from false imprisonment from 2022 out of Ohio. Domestic violence convictions, 2, both in 2017 out of Michigan. A battery conviction from 2019 out of Indiana. And then a burglary conviction from 2014 out of Florida. Level 2 is pretrial's recommendation, nothing further.
Thank you, Ms. Allen.
Thanks, Your Honor. This is an incident from July the 6th of 2024. Officers responded to the location where Mr. Watkins lives with his wife. 911 call was received based on loud yelling and arguing over a long period of time in the evening. Police went to go check on the residence. They knocked on the door. Mr. Watkins responded and slammed the door in police face and refused to allow them to have access to his wife while they were investigating what could have been a domestic incident. Police had hands on the door, had requested multiple times for the defendant to not close the door. Multiple times the defendant attempted to close the door and eventually slammed it. And that is the basis for the obstruction. This is a single case, a single charge, Your Honor. The victim, his wife, was eventually spoken to and reported that he had been yelling loudly throughout the evening, expressing his anger and frustration about issue with work and possible finances, and reported that it was only verbal. We would leave bond at your discretion, Your Honor.
Yes, Ms. Kim.
Yes, my client is 32 years old and his family moved to Georgia about 5 months ago. And this is now his permanent residency. He's legally married to his wife and he has 2 minor children, 8 and 11 years old, that he has to take care of, Your Honor. Your Honor, he does have some college education. There was no warrant. Nobody from his family called the police, and police didn't have any obligation or right to just walk into somebody else's house where he is the person who's supposed to be there. He doesn't have any reason to open the door and let the police in, Your Honor. So I don't think that this should be even issued. Willful obstruction of law enforcement based on nothing is just not appropriate. So we would like to request for signature on bond through jail. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Watkins.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Have a blessed day.
You do the same.
Next, Your Honor, we have position number 27, Mr. Denari Williams.
Good afternoon, Mr. Williams. You've been charged in case 24 CR 004467G with battery against a female who is pregnant, battery family violence, and simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Roberts?
Yes, no, I'm sorry. First arrest, level 1 is pretrial's recommendation.
Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is an incident that was reported in May of 2024. The defendant wasn't picked up until later, so a delayed arrest because of the warrant just being outstanding. This is a incident out of Fairburn. Warrant reports that the battery occurred on the pregnant girlfriend of Mr. Williams, Deja, D-E-J-A Gray, Gray. Miss Gray was 6 months pregnant at the time they were living together. She reported that there had been an argument over her desire to go with the defendant where he was leaving the house and, you know, going out in the world, and she wanted to join him. They argued over that. He did not want her to join him. And during that argument, he punched her in the head several times, grabbed her by the neck. We spoke with the victim in this case. She does not report that her breath was impeded or pressure was applied during this incident, but did report that she had previously been strangled by the defendant. This is the first time she's called the police. She has been receiving phone calls, I believe, from the jail since his arrest. We would like no contact whatsoever with the victim, Ms. Gray, or her family members. He also bit the victim on the arm. And so you have a battery on a pregnant woman just by virtue of her being pregnant. She is still pregnant, thank goodness. Repeated punching to the head, which is a simple battery, and then biting her on the arm, which is a battery family violence. Although there's no criminal history for this gentleman, these facts are alarming, and the repeated contact and attempt to contact this young woman is also an issue for the state. So we would ask again for no contact whatsoever with Ms. Gray or anyone in her family. I believe she's going to be here on the Zoom today. And since we have 3 counts, I would be asking for a $2,000 bond on each of the counts, Your Honor, with supervision through the jail for pretrial. Thank you.
Okay. Let's see, Deja Gray, Ms. Gray, if you're on the line and wish to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. You need to unmute yourself, activate your camera, and I'll have to swear you in. Yes, good afternoon, Ms. Gray. Can you raise your right hand for me, please?
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court this afternoon, ma'am?
I would just like to clarify the reason I was leaving the argument began was because I was packing my things to go back home, and it upset him from that night before a prior argument. This has been an ongoing situation throughout my whole pregnancy and during physical, mental, psychological, verbal abuse from Janari. I do think that he needs to be mentally evaluated and he needs a positive influence, mentor, therapist, psychologist, active.
You like no further contact with him at the present time?
No.
Okay, and to stay away from your residence?
Yes, I've fled the state. I'm no longer in the state of Georgia.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, ma'am. Anything further?
No.
All right. Thank you for being here this afternoon. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yes, Ms. Kim.
Your Honor, my client is 21 years young. Your Honor, he denies the allegation, and he does have actually videotapes that can prove the photo to prove that how much he was beaten up that day. He was the victim, and it kind of turned around, and he became here in the jail while she is already gone to Chicago, Illinois. My client is completely fine with no further contact and stay away from her place, as long as he has a third-party transfer to have a baby sometime later, Your Honor, when he gets born, he or she gets born. He graduated from high school successfully in 2021. After that, he has been working as a welder, and he works very hard. Your Honor, he does not do anything else except working, and financially saving the money for his child. We would like to request for signature on bond through jail or pretrial level 1, and he denies the allegation. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, so for each count, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, makes for a total of a $6,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further contact with Ms. Gray. I am going to leave any other custody arrangements up to some other court in the future, but he's to have no further contact with her at the present time. And stay away from her residence, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Williams.
Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go to position number 11, Mr. Arthur Hale.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Hill. You've been charged in case 24 CR 004447Y with criminal trespass and willful obstruction of law enforcement officers. Their history.
Judge, what was the name?
This is Arthur Hale, position number 11.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
11 cycles. Last arrest was from March of 2024 for simple battery and criminal trespass. He does appear to be on probation for that case, 24 CR 001476Y. The disposition was June 18th of this year, 12 months probation. Appears to have an open criminal trespass case, 24 CR 000687G. And then appears to have, well, none of these cases have dispositions, all out of Louisiana. Aggravated assault, that was May of 2023. Entering and remaining, that was from June of 2023, August of 23, and 2 from November of 2023. Open theft, which was from August of 2023. And then a disturbing of peace and resisting arrest, which was from October of 23. All appear to be open out of Louisiana. And level 3 is pretrial's recommendation and nothing further.
Thank you. Ms. Pakaki?
Yes, Your Honor. The defendant is accused of trespassing upon the PetSmart located at 3221 Peachtree Road, Northeast Atlanta, after receiving a criminal trespass warning the previous day on July 6, 2024. When the officer tried to detain the defendant, he continuously refused to place his hand behind his back. The recommendation is a signature bond for the trespass, a $500 surety bond for the willful obstruction, stay away from the incident location, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
And Ms. McConkey, do you happen to know the bond and the conditions on that other open criminal trespass case? Can you find that for me?
I can definitely find out, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. I'll go to Ms. Maxwell while you look for that, if you don't mind. Yes, Ms. Maxwell.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Hale is a young man who is trying his best to, at this point, to keep going. I believe there's some mental health issues there that our office has identified before. I don't want to get too far into his medical history on the record, but he is an Atlanta resident of not terribly long, but a few months. But he has family that he is very close to, both here as well as family in Florida. He's got a lot of ties to his family in general. He spent a while when we were talking, telling me about an upcoming family reunion he's excited to attend. I believe we've already had a social worker speak with him on his prior case. I couldn't confirm that though. But he's not employed. He does not have any means of paying for any bond. We would ask for a signature bond or as low as the court is comfortable with, to allow him to go and seek perhaps some outpatient care.
Your request that I can speak.
Okay. Ms. McConkey?
Yes, it looks like that was a $7,500 SOB through the jail. Stay away from the Spoke Apartments, 1454 La France Street. And you did not sign that bond order.
Your Honor, it was not noted as a factual part of this case, but the criminal trespass in this case was at a PetSmart store, and the defendant was in the ladies' restroom. I think that that is a pertinent fact. He refused to leave.
Okay, thank you. And does he need assistance with housing, Ms. Maxwell?
I believe that would be beneficial.
Okay, and I just it tells me that the previous $7,500 signature bond through the jail is a high signature bond, which alerts me, and I don't know if I obviously did not give it, but think that the judge who did give it probably wanted him to get some type of assistance, and gave him a higher bond as far as money wise, to indicate that if there were additional problems, then they had problems with that bond. I want him to get have a social worker visit him to assist him with housing and to assist him with any other needs that he might have. I want him monitored through pretrial this time, so there'll be a $500 signature bond through pretrial, making for a total of $1,000 signature bond through pretrial, level 1. Social worker visit, stay away from the PetSmart on Peachtree Road, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. I'm going to give you the opportunity, Mr. Hale, but if I see you again with the same type of charge, you won't be getting a signature bond from me in the future. You understand?
Listening.
Okay. Good luck to you, Mr. Hale.
Very well. Go to the third row.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Welcome.
Next is going to be position number 12, Mr. Bryson Hope.
Good afternoon, Mr. Hope. You've been charged in case 24 CR 004448C with battery. Is there a history?
Yes, 42 cycles. Last arrest was from, oh, sorry, I'm looking at Moses. 8 cycles. Last arrest was January of 2023 for a probation violation. Appears to be on probation for burglary. That is from May of 2012. It was a 15-year sentence. 2012 conviction for entering auto, theft by deception, and burglary. A 2016 conviction for possession of a sawed-off shotgun, rifle, machine gun, or silencer. And level 2 is pretrial's recommendation, and nothing further.
Yes, Ms. McConkey.
Yes, Your Honor. The defendant is accused of punching Camille Panjanvi after Mr. Panjanvi confronted him about items that he was shoplifting from the Chevron gas station located at 1217 Metropolitan Parkway Southwest in Atlanta. The defendant then punched the victim, Mr. Panjavi, in the face, which caused swelling to the victim's eye. The second store clerk did witness the attack, and the defendant also admitted to police that he did punch the victim. Our office has had a chance to speak with Mr. Panjavi, who confirmed the events in the warrant, stated he doesn't know the defendant and has never seen him before, and he did say that he still has pain in his eye every time he moves his face. He, of course, wants no contact with the defendant and wants him to stay away from the location. The state's recommendation is a $2,500 surety bond, no further contact with the victim, Camille Panjavi, stay away from the incident location, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Panjabi's on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Ms. Maxwell?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Hope is a young man who has He's been a Georgia resident since 2002 and a Metro Atlanta resident since 2016. He has a 5-year-old son, Khalil, who lives with his mother, with Khalil's mother. But Mr. Hope sees him at least 3 times a week, driving him to and from school, and taking him on weekends to stay with him. Mr. Hope's currently trying to get his small business up off the ground. He is doing some landscaping and general handyman type work. That is, I believe his name for the business is going to be Hope's Home Solutions. He is trying very hard to sort of build himself a path forward. He suffers from PTSD, medication, which he has been struggling to afford, which has caused him some difficulty in general function. But he has his GED. He's done 2 years at Savannah Tech, and he is trying very hard to move forward. He does have a hold out of Douglas County. So right now he does not have any financial ability to pay a bond. We would ask that the court consider granting a signature bond to allow him to deal with his holds, so that he is not just sitting indefinitely on those.
Okay, it will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. No further contact with Mr. Panjabi. Stay away from the Metropolitan Parkway location, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Hope.
Thank you, Mr. Morrow and Ms. Maxwell.
You're welcome.
Gonna go to position 14, Mr. Eric Moses. Hey, third row, third row.
Good afternoon, Mr. Moses. You have been charged in case 24 CR 004450F with criminal trespass. Is there a history, Ms. Roberts?
Yes, 42 cycles. Last arrest was from February of this year for criminal trespass and willful obstruction. That case appears to be open. Has a 2019 conviction for terroristic threats and willful obstruction. A 2017 conviction for disorderly conduct. 2009 conviction, criminal trespass. 2003, a felon opposing a resistant officer. 2002, terroristic threats. 2000 robbery and battery. 99 aggravated assault, and then battery in 99 and 98. And then a forgery in 2012. Level 3 is pretrial's recommendation.
Thank you. Ms. McConkey?
Yes, Your Honor. The defendant is accused of criminally trespassing upon the location 2 Martin Luther King Jr. Drive in Atlanta after previously receiving a criminal trespass warning from the location on May 3rd, 2023. The state's recommendation is a signature bond and stay away from the incident location. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Do you know what that location is? Is it a?
I believe it's a Georgia State building, GSU maybe.
Thank you. Yes, Ms. Maxwell.
We don't have any objection. No.
I looked it up and it looks like it's the Department of Community Health or Department of some government building.
Oh, different Georgia State building then, in my interpretation.
Does he need assistance with housing, Ms. Maxwell?
He is currently in a housing program that is helping him pay his rent. So he is currently taking advantage of that.
Okay. It'll be a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from 2 MLK Jr. Drive, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Moses. Who do we have next?
Gonna be position number 15, Mr. Parker, Gabriel Parker.
Good afternoon, Mr. Parker. You have been charged in case 24 CR 004451D with willful obstruction of law enforcement officers and simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Roberts?
5 cycles. Last arrest was from October of 21 for a probation violation. Only conviction was from 2021 for a DUI, and then 1 FTA from 2015. Level 1 is pretrial's recommendation. Nothing further.
Makaki?
The defendant is accused of pushing the victim, Kamani Cook, and pulling her hair. A witness, Ms. Raja Gayon, did see the defendant assault the victim. The defendant also lunged at officers and resisted arrest when officers tried to detain him. It is believed that the defendant was intoxicated at the time of this incident. Our office has had an opportunity to speak with the victim, Ms. Kamani Cook, who stated that her and the defendant have been together for 10 years and they have 2 children, 9 and 6 years old. She stated that her and the defendant do not have a domestic violence history and she is not afraid of him. She further denied the events in the warrant and stated the defendant never hit her. All they did was argue. She wants to continue contact with the defendant and wants him to return to the residence. The state's recommendation for the willful obstruction is a $1,000 surety bond. The recommendation for the simple battery is a $1,000 surety bond, no further violent contact with the victim, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Ms. Cook, I see you there. If you would like to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. If you would like to address the court, I'll need for you to activate your camera. Can you hear me, Ms. Cook? Okay, while I'm not sure if she wishes to address the court or not. It looks like she did unmute herself, so I'll give her the opportunity to address me if she wishes to. Ms. Maxwell?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Parker is a young father who has lived in Georgia for most of his life. He has family here. His father also lives in the area. He currently works for a security company. Previously, he was employed for a company that builds police cars. That led him to his current employment. He's a high school graduate with no major mental health or physical issues. He's a full-time active parent to his 2 children, Kalani, a 9-year-old daughter, Abel, a 6-year-old son. Mr. Parker's story lines up with Ms. Cook's story, as was relayed by the state, that this was a verbal argument, that nothing physical ever happened between the two. This took place at his father's residence. Everyone other than his father in the house was a guest. Mr. Parker can't, he is working the best he can at the security company to provide for his family, but times are tight. So he does not have the flexible income for paying a bond right now. We would ask for a signature bond and to allow him no further violent contact with his wife. Would ask that there not be a stay away, as this is his father's residence, and so no one lives there who's alleged to be a witness in this case.
And I would just like to bring to the court's attention, per the warrant, their 2 minor children were present at the time this incident occurred, but both parties, including the victim, were very uncooperative with the police and would not give the children's names, so we could not add the cruelty to children charge.
Okay. For the obstruction, it's a $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. For the simple battery, a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1 makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. 1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Kamani Cook, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Parker.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next, we have position number 17, Mr. Pierce.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Pierce. You've been charged in case 24 CR 004453J with criminal trespass. Is there a history?
Yes. 12 cycles. Last arrest was June of this year for criminal damage to property. That is an open case. pretrial 24 PI 004481. So we're going to surrender that bond. Last conviction I'm showing is from 2003 for robbery and 3 CWAC offenses. And then 2000 driving while license suspended or revoked. Level 3 is pretrials. Well, level 3 would be our recommendation, but we are surrendering the previous bond. And nothing further.
Taki?
The defendant is accused of criminally trespassing at the Amoco located at 1270 Cleveland Avenue in East Point after previously receiving notice that his entry was forbidden on October 12th, 2023. Officers observed the defendant sitting on the ground at the location. The state's recommendation is a signature bond through pretrial services. Stay away from that incident location. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
What is that location?
It is
Do we
the
know?
Amoco located at 1270 Cleveland Avenue in East Point.
Okay. Amoco?
Yes, AMOCO. I think it's a gas station. I might have been pronouncing it wrong.
I think it's Amico. I'm sorry. Ms. Maxwell, if it's agreeable with you, it's going to be $1,000 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from the Amico on Cleveland Avenue, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Does that suit you?
Yes, Your Honor, no objection. Thank you.
All right. Good luck to you, Mr. Pierce.
All right, next we have position number 16. Hold on. Well, this is the Mr. Broadnax. He was on the felony calendar. I'm not sure what position he is. Hold
He's
on.
position 4, Mario Broadnax.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Good
Good afternoon, Mr. Broadnax. You've been charged in case 24 CR 004455E with possession and use of drug-related objects and giving false information to law enforcement. Your history?
26 cycles. Last arrest was from July of 2023 for DUI and driving while license suspended or revoked. 2018 conviction for driving while license suspended or revoked. 2011 conviction is for possession of cocaine with intent out of Tennessee. 2009 conviction for sale of controlled substance out of Tennessee. 2007 conviction for manufacture, deliver, or sell controlled substance out of Tennessee. 2005 disorderly conduct conviction out of Tennessee. 2003 burglary conviction out of Tennessee. And then a 98 robbery conviction out of Tennessee. Level 2 is pretrial's recommendation and nothing further.
Ms. Williams?
Yes, Your Honor, this is a July 24 incident date where Officer Bratton and Mitchell were patrolling the area near 400 West Peachtree Street, where they observed the defendant who met a description of a bolo regarding larceny from automobiles. When they approached him to further investigate, they did an inventory of his personal belongings and recovered a drug pipe, a Dell laptop with its charger, and pruning shears. When asked for his name, he stated that his name was Antonio Brassel, with the date of birth of 3/10/79. When they checked the database, that name did not yield any results, so they met with Georgia Tech PD, who utilized the rapid ID and was able to identify him as himself, Mario Deshaun Broadnax, with the date of birth of 3/1/78. State recommends a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial, a stay away from 400 West Peachtree Street, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Okay, let's see. Ms. Maxwell, if agreeable with you, it'll be $1,000 signature bond through the jail on each charge. Makes for a $2,000 signature bond through the jail, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Does that suit you?
I believe that might have been Mr. Cook's, but I think I can speak.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Maxwell.
That's all right.
Mr. Cook?
Yes, Your Honor, that I'm having a little trouble with the video. That's acceptable.
Okay, so $2,000 signature bond through the jail, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Broadnax.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's all the bodies we have in the in the courtroom, but, position number 2 is they waived.
Position 16,
Yes, position number 16 waived.
20,
20 waived, and, number 2 waived.
okay. So let's just take them in order then. Position number 2 is Christopher Allen.
Yep.
Case 24 CR 004457F, charged with theft by shoplifting. Is there a history, Ms. Roberts?
Yes, last arrest was May of this year for theft by shoplifting and willful obstruction. Has an open theft by shoplifting out of DeKalb County, a 2024 theft by shoplifting conviction, a 2019 theft by shoplifting conviction, along with possession of marijuana less than an ounce, 2 FTAs, 2019 and 2023. Level 3 was pretrial's recommendation.
And Your Honor, this is a July 5th, 2024 incident date where Officer Coleman was dispatched to 1165 Ralph David Abernathy Boulevard. He made contact with Miss Mishoisha Lindsay, an employee at the Family Dollar, where she advised that the defendant, a black male wearing all black book bag, came into the store and stole some items. She then provided a picture of the suspect to the officer. They were able to canvass the area and did find him up the street. Took him into custody for shoplifting, and they did find the 2 gallons of clothing detergent and some mouthwash that he shoplifted from Family Dollar. The state recommends a $2,000 good bond, a stay away from the Family Dollar at 1165 Ralph David Abernathy Boulevard, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. And this, Your Honor, is due to the multiple shoplifting charges that he has open, as well as the convictions in Cobb County and Cherokee County.
Whose case is this?
This is my case, Your Honor. Yes.
Yes, Ms.
Mr.
Kim.
Allen is right now going through COVID-19, so that's why he waived his appearance. Your Honor, we would like to request for a signature on bond through pretrial, whichever level Your Honor seem to find it appropriate. My client is 28 years old, and he has been suffering from financial challenges. He is unemployed right now, and he graduated from high school. And I believe that this charge is not restrictive as of now, so we would like to request for signature on bond. Thank you.
And it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Stay away from the Family Dollar on Ralph David Abernathy.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, let's go on to position number 16. That would be Christopher Perry, charged in case 24 CR 004429C with battery. Is there a history, Ms. Roberts?
20 cycles. Last arrest was January of this year for battery. A 2017 robbery conviction. A 2014 simple battery conviction. A 2010 and 2007 possession of marijuana less than an ounce conviction. And then a 2005 disorderly conduct conviction. Level 2 is pretrial's recommendation.
McConkey?
Yes, Your Honor. The defendant is accused of punching Joshua Ortiz in the face, which caused swelling to the victim's face. It doesn't appear the parties knew each other. They were walking at 1000 Piedmont Avenue, Northeast Atlanta, where the Caribou Coffee is located. The victim attempted to go around the defendant. The defendant continued to get in front of him, and that is when he punched the victim in the face. I also see that he had a 2022 simple battery arrest, a 2020 simple battery arrest where time expired, and a 2019 simple battery arrest and willful obstruction where time expired. The state's recommendation is a $2,500 surety bond given his history, no further contact with the victim, stay away from the incident location, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on
bond. Whose case is this?
This is my case, Your Honor.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Harry is 48 years old, Your Honor, and he is currently married. However, he has been unemployed. He graduated from high school, and we would like to request for a signature on bond through pretrial level 2 as he is recommended. So, thank you.
Okay, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. No further contact with Joshua Ortiz, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thanks, Your Honor.
Okay, position number 20, Frank Smith, charged in case 24 CR 004460G with criminal trespass. Is there a history, Ms. Roberts?
25 cycles. Last arrest was May of 2024 for public indecency and willful obstruction out of DeKalb County. Appears to have 3 open cases, 23 CR 006078G, 23 CR 004470G, and 24 CR 004405G. A 2021 conviction for theft by taking and theft by shoplifting. A 2015 conviction out of Tennessee for attempted burglary, and a 2007 conviction out of Tennessee for criminal trespass. And the last arrest appears to have been a conviction as well. And nothing further. Level 3 is pretrial's recommendation.
The 3 open cases, what are they? What are the charges?
The last one I read out is criminal trespass and damage to property. And then the first 2 is for loitering and prowling and public indecency for one of those 2.
Okay, who's presenting on this case for the state?
Oh, okay.
Ms. McCockey, Ms. Williams, Ms. Allen. This your case, Ms. McCockey?
What is the defendant's name? I'm just gonna double check to see if it's.
Position number 20, Frank Smith.
That's me, Your Honor.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
no, you're fine.
So this is a criminal trespass case, Your Honor. Mr. Smith. 1 second. I'm frozen. Mr. Smith was at Georgia Tech campus in the parking deck at 770 Spring Street on July the 6th of 2024. He was seen activating the emergency alarms by pushing 911 buttons at the location and alerting false alarms. He'd previously been criminally trespassed for a 5-year period that started June the 3rd of 2022 and is still active until 2027 in June. Police officers who engaged him and observed him recognized him from their previous encounters. We'd be requesting a $1,000 bond through pretrial with some supervision, Your Honor.
Ms. Allen, would you mind checking those other 3 open cases for me and seeing what the bond were and the conditions, and if I sign those?
Doing it
please?
now.
Thank you. Yes, Ms. Kim.
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 54 years old, Your Honor, because of his severe medical condition. He waived his appearance. He's divorced and he has been unemployed. He graduated from, I believe, Georgia Tech with a bachelor's degree. There are 2 other holds right now, one at Atlanta PD and Sandy Springs Police Department. So he has to go there and take care of those as well. So he's not going anywhere for a long time. I would like to request for signature on bond through jail. Thank you.
Okay, and if you were able to find those, Ms. Allen, for me.
I see a criminal trespass arrest from November of 2023. I do not see an order for bond. It's also at Georgia Tech, 800 Spring Street. And then October of 2023, signature bond, $2,000. Again, Peachtree Street, attempting to break into an ATM at Truist Bank. There's no bond document. I believe the November 2023 arrest was null prost. Prior to that, July 2023, loitering and prowling. And public indecency, that was a $3,000 total signature bond.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Kim, does he need assistance with housing?
Does. Yes, he does.
Okay. So I'd like for him to have a social worker visit. It'll be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. Social worker visit, stay away from 77 Spring Street, Georgia Tech campus. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
Thank you.
Okay. And if you speak with him, Ms. Kim, let him know that if he comes back before me again, he's not going to get a signature bond on a criminal trespass charge, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. I believe that completes the 2 o'clock calendar. Let's see, Ms. Champion, whenever you're ready, we can go over it.
Yes, Your Honor. Position number 1 is a total of $4,000 pretrial bond level 2 reset further notice. Position number 2 is a $2,000 pretrial bond level 2 reset further notice. Position number 3 is a $5,000 pretrial bond level 2 reset further notice. Position number 4 is a total of a $2,000 sign-on bond through the jail reset further notice. Position number 5 is a $3,000 pretrial bond level 2 reset further notice. Position number 6 is a $2,000 pretrial bond level 1 reset further notice. Position number 7 is a $3,000 pretrial bond level 1 reset further notice. Position number 8 is a total of a $1,000 good bond reset SAP 723. Position number 9 is a $500 sign-on bond through the jail reset further notice. Position number 10 is a $2,000 sign-on bond through the jail reset further notice. Position number 11 is a total of a $1,000 pretrial bond level 1 reset further notice. Position number 12 is a $2,000 pretrial bond level 2 reset further notice. Position number 13 is a $3,000 pretrial level 1 reset further notice. Position number 14 is a $2,000 sign-on bond through the jail reset further notice. Position number 15 is a total of a $3,000 pretrial level 1 reset further notice. Position number 16 is a $2,000 pretrial level 2 reset further notice. Position number 17 is a $1,000 sign-on bond through the jail reset further notice. Position number 18 is a $2,000 pretrial level 1 reset further notice. Position number 19 is a total of a $5,000 pretrial level 2 reset further notice. Position number 20 is a $1,000 pretrial level 1 reset further notice. Position 21 is a total of a $1,500 good bond reset SAP 723 along with the other open case. Position number 22 is a total of a $3,000 pretrial level 3 reset further notice. Position 23 is a $3,000 sign-on bond through the jail reset further notice. Position 24 is a $2,000 pretrial level 1 reset further notice. Position number 25 is a total of a $1,000 pretrial level 1 reset further notice. Position number 26 is a $2,000 sign-on bond through the jail reset further notice. Position number 27 is a total of a $6,000 pretrial level 1 reset further notice. Position number 28 is a total of a $2,500 pretrial level 1 reset further notice. And the add-on position number 1 is a total of a $1,000 sign-on bond through the jail reset further notice. Any questions?
Okay, if not, thank you all. For better or worse, you got me all week, so I will see you all tomorrow.
See you later, Judge.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Better or worse.
Have a
Have a
good
good
night.
night.
All right.
Okay. Goodbye, everyone.